Oh, it's the first in Mombasa. Yes.
For
So
us.
it's
Yes.
For
31st
us.
of January in Canada, and it's the 1st of February 2025 in Kenya.
Yeah.
And it is your 7:35, mine 8:35 p.m. on the 31st because we're 11 hours behind. Okay.
Wow.
So
Mhm.
Pina is going to say the prayer, and today's class is going to be the basic class, the first part of the basic. And we're going to be learning the Loshu grid today. Okay. So Pina, please go ahead. Start the prayer. Okay.
Supreme Being, to Divine Father, Divine Mother, to our teacher, Grandmaster Jokok Sui, to his teacher, Mahaguruji Mailing, all the great ones, all the holy gurus, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers, we invoke for your guidance, your help, your protection. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
So be
So
it,
be
so be it, so it
it.
is. Okay. So thank you for joining me. I'm excited to have you in my class
Thank
today.
you.
So today we are going to go over the basics of numerology. Okay. So I'm going to go over the chanting as the first part. Okay. Chanting usually comes later, but because it's a prayer, I like to start the chanting beforehand. Okay. Um, and there is no harm in trying to use the chanting in any way, shape, or form. Okay. So here are some chanting that is being used for different things. Okay. Now you may have heard of these things like Shreem, a chant Shreem. Shreem is for abundance and prosperity, usually relating to Lakshmi Ma or Lakshmi Mata, which is the goddess of money, we call her. Okay. And then cream is usually used to deter negative energy. Okay. And to protect. So you say ah yum. Okay. Ah yum. Okay. To help with education and concentration. So if there is a student that is studying or you are studying and you want to use that, you can. Okay. Om is a very, very general one that we use for everything. Okay, Om is used for pretty much everything. Like when you're doing meditation to for enlightenment, whatever it may be, Om is a very common word that we use for many things. Whenever we are starting any prayer or anything, we always start with Om. Like if we're saying Gayatri mantra, it's Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavita, right? So it's Om is a very common mantra, and actually Om was found as the sound of the universe. So it was actually researched that the sound of the universe is Om. Usually, how do you say Om? You say it from the top all the way down, right? The energy. We just don't say Om. No, there is a way of saying it, right? So these mantras, I'm just going to go over them, and then Shilpa has a question, so we will answer that in a second. Okay. Then we have Sapt Chiranjeevi. Sapt Chiranjeevi. Okay. To help with health issues. Okay. And then Radha Krishna usually is used to help with marital relationships, right? Kavach Kundali. Kavach Kundali is also used for, it's a very powerful mantra which is used for protection. It basically exactly what it says, Kavach Kundali. Okay. It was used during the war, right? When the gods were having their war, it was used for that. Okay. Divya Drishti. So I use that a lot because that's the divine gift, right? That we've been given to be able to share the knowledge. Okay. So the knowledge that is being shared today is a divine knowledge. Okay. You can use this before um, before you're doing a reading, or like if you're doing somebody's reading, you can, you just invoke, right? And then you say Divya Drishti. So basically, you're asking the universe to help you, because this is just, we can write everything, but then there's also intuition involved in this. Okay, it's a science and an intuition. Okay. And most of the time, people who come to us as numerologists, right, usually are looking for these four different things, which is health, wealth, relationship, and career answers. Okay. Rarely people will ask you about spiritual, because spiritual, they generally know. Okay. So, or they have an idea, right? Because spiritual is the soul. Okay. And I understand Shilpa has a question. So please go ahead, Shilpa.
No, actually, I was asking everyone to mute the mic.
Oh, Aarti, yes. If you can mute that, please, that would be awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Shilpa. That is a very good point. Yes, because then what happens is that we hear it in the video, and then when you want to listen to it later on, it kind of becomes a little noisy. Okay, so these are some of the chants that I use, and then of course the invocation chant that I sent you via WhatsApp. That is the one we always use before we start any of our classes. Okay, and then usually, because I am way more advanced in a lot of ways when it comes to numerology, I usually prefer reciting and listening to Gayatri Mantra. Maybe many of you probably heard it in the background while I was trying to get myself charted and set up. That is something that I use a lot. Okay. And even before I start any reading, it's one that I use a lot, because it actually talks about the human plane, the plane in the middle, and the plane above. Okay. So as much as this is a very much a science, as again I say, it is a science. Numerology is a science. You don't need intuition when you're actually creating the charts. But sometimes what happens is that when you look at the chart, you will, the more you look at the charts, the more you will feel there's an intuition that pulls you towards that, and you'll be able to ask those questions. Okay. So yeah, so that's what it is. I'm going to close that. Now we will move on to the summary. Okay. Now, numerology is, as I mentioned, a science. Okay. And there is the name numerology. Okay. Generally, what we do is we'll take your name, and then we will take your date of birth. Okay. So today we're going to work on date of birth first. Okay. Because there's a lot of information for you to learn. Okay. So we'll go with the date of birth, and then we look for the personality, and we look for the destiny. Okay. And we do use the Kua number as well, but the Kua number is not something that is being used very much when we actually put it in the Loshu grid or the Vedic grid. Okay. So there's many different ways of doing numerology. Numerology has been used in many countries for generations, and they have a few different methods. Okay, but I only concentrate on the Loshu grid and the Vedic grid. Okay, so the Loshu grid was actually created by Master Loshu. He was a saint. Okay, in China. And the Vedic grid, obviously, when you actually see and many of you have seen Vedic astrology with the 12 houses, right? They do have the Vedic grid in it as well. Okay, so some gurus will use it, some will not. Okay, when you're doing your Vedic astrology. Okay, so today we are going to learn the Loshu grid. Okay, and I will briefly, if we have time, show you the Chaldean um, sound numerology. So we do use the Chaldean sound numerology, which is also used in the Vedic when it comes to, it's the same concepts for name numerology. Okay, so say for example, you look into get a business name, a personal name, you have a child, they say Namkaran, right? A child's name, when you are doing your own name to see what your numbers are, because sometimes we have our name and our names don't match with our personality and destiny. Okay, so sometimes you look at the grid, and quite often you will see the grid is amazing, and you wonder, why is this person really, like this person could do so much better, what is it? And you suddenly look at their name. It's the name because of the sound, right? The sound, it has a vibration, right? Just like when you do pranic healing, there's a vibration, right? Same thing when it comes to name numerology, it's the same thing. Okay, there's a vibration. The numbers also have a vibration. Your birth date has a vibration. Now the thing is that we can not change your birth date, right? We cannot change the time you were born, the date you were born, or anything, but we can change your name, right? Name can be changed at any time, right? Your location where you live can be changed, correct? Your phone number can be changed. Your car plate number can be changed. I know in Kenya, it's a little challenging to change your car plate number, but in Canada, we just go to ICBC and we change our plate number. I have the same car, I've changed my plate number, right? So the phone number you can change, right? So these are certain things that we can actually control. Okay, some people even change their bank account numbers. Now sometimes what happens is that you can actually go to the bank and ask. Depends on how much, especially in Kenya, you have to have the connections to be able to change that number. But sometimes they do change that number, right? Your office location, your building address, those things you can change, right? But you cannot change your birth date. Okay, so numerology is a science, and it is actually just a roadmap. Okay, it is just a roadmap. So when it comes to numerology, not all of us can be doctors, not all of us can be nurses. Okay, we all come with our own roadmap in life. Okay, and numerology actually is just an indicator. It's like you trying to go from Mombasa to Malindi. You've never been to Malindi, and you don't have your GPS, or you don't have a roadmap, right? You won't know where to go. So what this helps you is that it gives you a roadmap, and it shows you. It can give you what years are going to be challenging for you, what years. So they're not challenging. Basically, what they are they're indications. So it's just telling you this year is your, like, say you've got a number 7 as your personal year. Okay, and that year, just slow down. That is your spirituality year. That is, uh self-reflection year. There's going to be some, you're going to be on your own, maybe, emotionally. You have to literally self-reflect, go inside, go within, go look at your heart, for example, right? If you have a number 1, for example, and as your personal year, then that is a year to start. Okay, you start anything. So these are just indications, right? There's some years where you have to watch out for your health, mental health, etc. So it's just an indication. So it's like a preparation, that this is what's going to happen. So prepare yourself, and make sure that you prepare yourself enough so it is not as hard, or it's not as difficult. Okay, and also when it comes to careers, the thing is that, if you are, for example, you're a number 8 and you're trying to do a job of a number 1, right? So number 8, or vice versa. Let's say you're a number 1 and you're trying to do a job of number 8. So number 1 and number 8 generally don't get along very well. Okay, so number 8 is a number for Shani, and we'll go over that. I'm just quickly just giving you the basics. Number 8 is a number for Shani, and number 1 is Shani Bhagwan, and number 1 is Surya Bhagwan, right? The sun and Saturn. Now, they don't usually get along, despite them being in the same house, right? They come from the same house, because Shani Bhagwan is the sun, Saturn, so son of Surya Bhagwan, right? So what happens is that they will still work together, but they will still have arguments. They've had arguments according to mythology, right? So then you don't, as a number 1, want to do the job of number 8. So you don't want to get into anything to do with steel work, anything to do with oil, anything to do with shoes, right? Leather, those kinds of things you try and avoid. Okay. So these are just some things that you want to try and avoid. Okay. So that's the same thing when it comes to name numerology. It's the same thing when it comes to your regular numerology, when you're doing partnership numerology, when you're doing relationship numerology, when you're doing um, phone mobile numerology, when you're doing any of the numerologies, right? And then you don't want certain numbers in certain businesses. So you don't want your name to come up to a 7, or you don't want your name to come up to, an 8, because 8 is Shani Bhagwan, which is slow. It's the slowest planet in the world. It takes almost 30 years, 29.4 years to go around the solar system. Okay, it's the slowest planet. So you don't want a number 8. Though number 8 is used a lot by the Chinese because it is also an infinite sign. Okay, but it is also a slow planet. You do have to work hard, but you will get what you want. Yes, we also do Shani. We also say Shani money. So number 8 is a number for money as well. Okay, so there is a few things that you just have to take a look at. Okay, so this is what numerology basically is. Okay, it's a very simple science. It's just there's a lot of concepts to learn, but once you get the simple science, then the concepts are easy to understand. Okay, so here is a little bit of, so as I said, I use Losho grid and Vedic grid. Okay, so it's a 3x3. Now, what I will ask you guys to do is, while we're doing this, please take a piece of paper. Okay, I hope you all have a little piece of paper there. Okay, on the top, I want you to write, and I'm going to show you how you are going to write it. Okay, I want you to write your name. Okay, your date of birth. You start with your date, month, and year. Okay, date dash month as a number. Okay, dash year, 1990, whatever it may be. Okay, and then I want you guys to go and draw these 4 boxes that I have given you. There's 2 boxes here, okay, as you can see. So first draw a 3x3, and I will read out the numbers for you, okay? So draw 2 boxes of 3x3, okay? Did you draw out the boxes? Okay. So the top line, you always go from the left, because this is also, and when we get there, this is also used for the Lakshmi Yantra, we call it, okay? We're not there yet, so I'm not going to share that with you right now, okay? So you always go from left to right. You start 492, okay? 357, 816, okay? And I always put it on the right-hand side, because this is just my cheat sheet. Okay, we always, whether you're an expert or not, you always put it on the side because you don't want to make mistakes, right? If we're in a rush and we've got 10 of them and we're doing a Loshu grid and we're doing a Vedic grid at the same time, because the numbers are different, okay, then what happens is it's very, very easy for us to make a mistake. Okay, so I always make sure I have this grid, and then right next to it, I make sure that's where I put my numbers. Okay, and we will get there again. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so as you can see, the numbers are different, right? When you look at the Loshu grid and the Vedic grid, the numbers are different. The top is 492357816. Okay, and then the Vedic grid is 319675284. Now, if you look at the Loshu grid, there's a cheat. Okay, if you look at the Loshu grid, count 4, 9, and 2. What do you get? You should get a 15. Okay, then count 3, 5, and 7. What do you get? Again, you get a 15. And you count 8, 1, and 6. Again, you get a 15. Okay, this is only in the Loshu grid. Okay, so this is only in the Loshu grid you will find this. Okay, you will not find it in the Vedic grid. Because if you look at the Vedic grid, you see there's a 14, and then there's an 18, and there's 8, 10, 14 again. Okay, so they're not, there's a different science to the Vedic grid. Okay, And then we'll keep going. Okay, this is a Pythagoras grid. Now, it's commonly used by the Western society, Western numerologists. I don't use it. Okay, and I don't suggest each concept is different. Okay, so for me, I only do Vedic and Loshu. Now you will ask, why do I need to do two? Why do you need to understand two? So when you go to a doctor, okay, you always, if a doctor says something, you always take a second opinion. Okay, so that's the reason why Loshu grid, Vedic grid is my second opinion. Okay, so whenever I do a reading, I always look at the Loshu grid, then I always look at the Vedic grid. Okay, and the grids actually, the numbers give you the same information. The yoga numbers are different though. Okay, the yoga numbers give you a little bit of a different indication. Okay, but they're similar. So you will get in the Vedic grid, you get a little bit more information about the health and stuff like that. Okay, while in the Loshu grid, you get the different planes that you see that we will go over when we do the yoga numbers. Okay, so let us go and let me show you to do how to calculate. Okay, so you guys all have your charts ready, correct? Okay. Next. Okay, so give me one of your date of births and I will put it on here for you so we can calculate it. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. This time we'll do Pina. Next time we'll do we'll do you again. Okay.
We all want
Okay.
it.
5-3-1969.
Dash three dash three dash 19. So we can do more than one because it's a good practice, right? So we can understand. Okay, so we can do actually all four of you. We can even do all four of you. That's fine. That's not a big deal. And then you guys can refer to it as well. Okay. So this is for, okay, why is this not? Let's see. Okay, so how do we calculate the personality number? Okay, so personality number is always your date of birth. Okay, now she has a 05. Okay, so she has a 05. I'm just going to write it a little bit neater. Okay, so when you look at this personality number, okay, so mine is a 16, for example. Okay, we always go 1 plus. Okay, but because hers is a 5, then you only go as 5. Okay, so her personality is a 5. Okay, now destiny is always 0 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 9 plus 6. Okay, so this is 20, 29, 35, 36. Did I get that right? No. That's 10, 19, 25, 26, 27, 28, 20, 28, 29. So I got a 33. Is that right? Correct? Okay. So then again, we go 33, which is 3 plus 3 equals to. So her destiny number is 6. Okay. So now you've got personality and destiny number, which is 6. Okay. And then we actually, even when we look at it, we also analyze this number. Okay. But we will get to that. That is a little bit more detailed, more complicated. That is more for advanced. Okay. So right now, we're not going to do that. But whenever you're calculating, I always put my number here. I always make sure I've got my number right here. Okay. So that when I look at it, I know, right? That what is this number? Does it indicate anything to me? Does it tell me anything? Right? So there's a few things that we look at. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to now plug in all these numbers. Okay. All these numbers. Okay. And this number in this empty box. Okay. So we've got a 5 here. Okay. Because there's a 5 here. Right? So we copy the 5 here. We've got a 3 here. So I'm going to put a 3 here. Okay. You already have a yog, I can see. No, you don't. Let's see. I'm sure you do. 1. Yeah, you do. 9, 6. A second 9. Okay. And then, so we always put in, before we put our personality and destiny numbers, we always put in just these numbers first. Okay. Always first. Now she's got a 5 in her personality, but then she's got a 0. So her personality is already a 5, right? So that has already gone in here. So you put a P here. Okay. Some people do add a 5 here. Some people don't. My teacher taught me not to. Okay. So we'll leave that 5. So anything between 1 to 10. Okay. You do not add that. If their birth date is 1 to 10, right? 10, you got a 1 already. So 1 to 9, basically. It's 1 to 9, actually. So 1 to 10 is just an indication. Anything below 10, okay? You do not repeat it. Got it? So if their birth date is less than 10, you don't repeat it. Understood or not? We'll do a second one. Don't worry. So this is a personality here. Oops. What did I do? There we go. So this is a personality here. Okay. Now you got the 6. So we put another 6 here. Okay. Right. Now there's 2 ways that you can do it. Because you've already got the 5 here, you can actually put 6 and make it a small 6. There's different ways to do it. I taught my class, I like teaching my class with the small 6. So I know this one is the destiny, this one is the personality. Okay. So there's 2 methods to do it, as I mentioned. Oops. Yeah. Right. So you can actually do that. Or you just put 1. Okay. Now we've got that. So this is a yog number, we call it. Okay. Because this is a straight line. Now, how do we know a yog number? A yog number is if there is a straight line either going crossways, this way, this way, this way, this way. Okay. Got it? So I like circling it personally. I like circling it or highlighting it. So when I'm doing a reading, I like circling it personally. So I know, right? Because sometimes what happens when you go through so many readings, it's very easy to miss a yog number, right? So I like circling it. So I will circle it. Okay. So I've got it this way. If there is a 4 here, then I would go this way, right? As well. It's just for me, it's my notes, right? Because when I give it to the client, they don't know what I've just written. They have no clue what I've just written, right? It's just my notes, and I give it to them so that they can see it. After 1 year, they come back and they can see it if they want to, refer to it, right? Because this doesn't change unless you change your name. Okay? Makes sense? Yes? Okay. So Aarti, go ahead, Pina.
The center one on the top, is it supposed to be 9 all the time? Center
Yes,
box.
always. So this one here, this is your cheat code. Always. This is how it is. 9 is always there. Okay. So you will always find 492357816. Always, no matter what you do. And then if you look at, can you see that? Yeah. So if you look at, this is the Loshu grid. Okay. 492357816. Always. And then the Vedic grid is 319675284. But the way you put the Vedic grid, you never put the century. Okay, so, but we're not going to do the Vedic grid today, but I will just quickly show you what I mean. So right now in this grid here, we put the 1 and the 9, right? This one, the century, okay? In the Vedic grid, we do not put this, okay? So whenever I do the grids, right? Whenever I do any grid, I always make sure I circle this because it's very easy to make a mistake, right? And when you're doing a reading, you do not want to give the wrong information to any client, okay? So you don't want to make a mistake when you're doing that. So what I do is, for my satisfaction, I always circle it. So there's few things I always do. I make sure that I draw this grid right next to this grid here. Okay, this is my cheat code. Okay, this one here is my cheat code, but this is where I put the client's information. And the same thing you do, and then I always, whenever I do it, I always write here Vedic. Oh, sorry, this is not Vedic, this is Loshu. Okay, so I'll always put Loshu. Okay, and then I will put the Vedic. Okay, so I'll do the same thing at the bottom, and I'll have Vedic. Okay, so you can understand how it looks. Because when you're doing a reading, you always need this. You don't want to make a mistake. Okay, so this is how we do it. Now, let's take a second one. Somebody with a number that is different. Aarti, you had a number date for me, didn't you?
Yeah, it's first.
Oh, you're a 1 again. Okay, 01.
10,
Uh-huh.
1966.
Okay, I was hoping. Anybody with a double number? Like we'll do Aarti's, we'll do all of yous. Don't worry. 10, 1966. Wow, you are very stubborn. Okay, we will get to that. Okay. But you're a very good leader. Okay. So you're a very good leader. Don't worry, you're a very good leader. Number 1, my son is the number 1. It's the number of the king. So when there's a king, he's always wants to lead. He always wants to be right. He always wants to be, like the sun. The sun is number 1, right? So if we don't have the sun, we don't get light. Correct? So that's number 1. Okay. Okay. So let's go. We've got 10, 16, 22, 24. Right? Did I get that right? 24. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Wow. You got nice numbers there. Okay. So let's go 1. Okay. And then we're going to go 1 again. because we've got 1 and 1, and we've got 1 again. Oof. Do you run your own business?
No, homeowner completely for now. I used to, yeah. Some
You
time
must have
back.
been very successful
Was good, yeah.
in your business. Okay.
That was with my husband, not me alone, yeah.
That's okay. That's fine. Okay. And then you've got another 6. Oh, you're very family oriented. Yes or no?
Try to be, yes. We all are, I'm
Okay.
sure. Everyone's family oriented.
Yeah. So we've got, oh, you should 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is how we do it. Okay. Make sense? Make sense? Yes? Yes? Go ahead, Shilpa. Yeah. Ask Shilpa.
How did you get 4 ones? I can see 3 1, but how did you get the other
1,
fourth one?
2, 3, 4. But some people don't put this one here, and some people do. Okay. So there's 2 trains of thought. So I'm trying to show you that. Okay. I usually do. My teacher taught me to put it there, right? And some people don't. Okay. Right. Because you see, the thing is that what I mean is that 1, 2, anything less than 10. So the single digit numbers, you don't repeat it because the destiny comes right away, right? You don't have to compound it, right? So if it is, for example, let's give you my birthday, okay? I will give you my birthday. It's not, it's 16 03 1973. Okay, so mine is 1 plus 6, right, which will give me a 7, and my destiny is a 3. You want to count that for me? Confirm. 6 plus barabar hai? That's 20, 23, 29, 30. Yes. Okay, good. So now I put 1, 6, 3, 1, 9, 7, 3, and then I got a 7 as my destiny and 3 as my personality. Okay. There's a reason why I say, well, we usually, you can make it look, it's harder for me to write small right now, but you can either write it a small 9, or if that's your personality or destiny, whatever it is, right? Or you can write this circle, right? I'm just doing a circle because it's easier for me to write on here. Okay. So you can adopt any method. There's a reason for that. When we go to the decoding of the grid, then you will understand why this is important. Okay. If you have too many of them, what happens, etc. Okay. So we're not there yet. But we prepared for it. Okay. So now you see what I did was I did 1 plus 6. Got it? Make sense? Hmm? Okay. All right. Check. Okay. Who's next? Who's next? We'll do all months. Oh, Shilpa. Okay. Give me a number.
26
Hmm.
08
Mm-hmm.
1977.
Okay. So, oh, perfect. So we've got 2 digits. I like that. So 6, 7, 8. Barabar? Okay. So your personality is an 8. Now your destiny is 10, 18, 20, 26 plus 4, 26 is 33, plus 7 is 40. Did I get that right? Yeah. So your destiny is 4. So that's the 40. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, I always like doing a few things, right? I get into the habit of doing these things, because when you get into the advanced classes, you will understand the concepts of why I do those. I always circle my 19 for my Vedic grid, okay, so that I can remember. Don't add that 19. And then I always put the total right there. Okay. And then you have your destiny and personality, and the name also goes on top. Okay. Now, let's transfer these over. So we've got 2 here. We've got 6 here. Okay. We've got 8 here. Right. We've got 1 here. We've got 9 here. We've got 7 here. We've got 7 here. Now she's got an 8, which is her personality. Okay. And then she's got a 4, which is her destiny. Okay. All right. So here, like you see, I was telling you that she's got 3 yog numbers here, right? So you can highlight it, right? And then you highlight it and you highlight it. Okay. So that is one choice you have. Or you can circle it. Circle, circle, and circle. Okay. As long as you can see all the numbers very, very clearly. Okay. So that's how we do it. So now you see we've got the yog numbers, right? Did we understand how we did this now? Yes? We're good? We've got Bansi left to do? Okay, let's clean this up. Let's clean this up. All right. Okay, go ahead, Bansi.
20,
Uh-huh.
7, 1964. 20 July, so that's 707.
Oh, okay. 19.
1964.
Okay. So we've got 2 as your personality, destiny. So you see what I did? So easy. When you look at a person, it will come to you so automatically. So she's got 10, 20, 27, 28, 29. So she's got 29. Oh, hold on. She's got, why is it not doing this? I don't like this.
So personality and destiny, what comes to 2?
9, 10, 11, 2. Wow. You're very moody, Bansi. No? She's not moody? Hiya. You're a unique person there.
She is unique,
Hiya. Okay.
full of life, bubbly.
Yeah, she's like a queen. So number 2 is considered like a queen. She likes to entertain. But when we get to the different names, what they mean, moon. So number 2 is associated with moon. Okay. And moon goes by the moon cycle. Okay. Some people can be very moody when they have that number 2. Okay. But they also are they're very motherly. So what is a moon? Is a soft planet. Very motherly, very caring, very loving. They would be really good teachers. You know, there's some teachers, they say, hi, it's okay. Bus, it's okay. They're very loving, very caring. And then they're like the queen. What does the queen do? She's the one who takes care of preparing, of entertaining, of taking care of the guests, of making sure everything is perfect. You know, the queen likes dressing up, likes looking good, likes, all the luxuries, the nice stuff, the good stuff, But then they do get moody a little bit because the moon cycle, right? The moon is not always steady. It changes its shape every time, right? But then of course, if Bansi is probably meditating a lot, but we haven't actually gone through the whole thing yet, but if she meditates a lot and she does a lot of different different things that help you, right, with your mood swings, then that's very good. Then she probably doesn't have those issues, right? You're very action oriented. True? Very action oriented. No? Yes or no? Kind of?
Um, what do you mean by
Uh,
action oriented? Mhm.
like if you're given something to do, you'll get it done.
Oh yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Very action oriented. Like you, this plane is for action. Get action. This
Okay.
is the mind plane, the mental plane. Okay. This is the action plane here. Okay. Okay. All right.
You
So
didn't comment
we've got
on number 5. You didn't comment on number 5. I feel left out.
okay. We'll get to that. So number 5 is actually the center of the grid. Do you see that? Now, everybody is the friend of the center of the grid, right? Okay, everybody.
Voice is breaking.
Huh?
Voice was breaking.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is that better? Okay. So everybody is a friend of number 5. Okay. It's the center of the grid. Okay. Now, if you see, there's number 5 is connected to almost most of the yoga. Okay. Okay. So if you do 4, 5, 6, right? That one yoga number, you need 5 in there. Correct? You've got 2, 5, 8. That's another one. You've got that 5, 6, 3, 5, 7. Your yoga number. 9, 5, 1.
We can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Oh no. Still? No? You can? Oh, I don't know what's going on. Okay. So if you really look at it, it's the center of the grid. Okay. And the center of the grid, it's friends with everybody. Okay. Because it's connected to everybody. Right. And secondly, if you really look at it, right, I'm just going to repeat myself. 951, right, makes it a yoke number. 357, yoke number. 456, yoke number. 258, yoke number. You see? So it's the center of the grid. It is, we call it the we call number 6 the airport and this the airline. Okay, so a very solid grid has got both of them. Okay, and we always need number 5 for business. Okay, and if somebody has business, if you look at 951, right, 951 is considered a yoke number for business. So somebody with a 951 should really be in business. Okay. But then sometimes what happens is that if you notice, sometimes, you'll say this person is always changing their jobs. They're always changing their jobs. Why? Either they have a 951 or they have too many ones, right? They've got Raja in there, right? So they're meant to be self-employed. They're meant to employ people, not to work for anybody. Okay. So let's finish this one here. Okay. So she doesn't have a 4, or she does have a 4. Okay, so let's go back. We got the 2, we got the 2, we got the 7, we got the 1, we got the 9, we got the 6, we got the 4. Okay, now we need to put the personality in there. We got the 2, we've got another 2 here. Okay, and destiny. Okay, so this is actually a very good one. It's a very good example. So with the 2 2s that she has over there, which is personality and her destiny. Okay, so her life would have been very smooth between a 35 40s. Things must have not changed very much for her. Okay, so what happens with that is that when we the personality generally is something that starts changing into the destiny between 35 and 40. Okay. So many of you, if you pay attention to your life, just go back and think. Did things change between 35 and 40? You probably matured a little bit more. Some certain things changed in your life. Certain elements changed in your life. You know, you've gone from being a certain type of person to a different type of person. And people say, oh, you've just changed. Yeah, well, so that's what has happened. Okay. So usually around between 35 and 40, right, is when your destiny takes into effect. Okay. So that's what happens. So that's the reason why I always say these are numbers that are very, very important for us. Okay. So that's the reason why when you put it in your grid here, okay, when you put it in your grid here, you will see, because when you're looking at the grid, any client's grid, your grid, because you're going to start doing your grid, then you're going to go and do a little bit of homework before our next class, and you're going to go and see other people's grids, right? You're going to take your family's grids, your child, your other grids, so you can get into the groove of this, okay? So then you will understand this is their personality, this is their destiny. Okay. And then when we decode the grid, we will get to what happens when there is multiple numbers. Okay. So not right now. Okay. And then you will also understand yoga numbers as well. So Bansi has got 2 yoga numbers, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. 1 and 2. Yes? Right? Okay. So these are your yoga numbers. Okay. So this is action oriented, 276, and then 492 is your mental plane, your mind. Okay. Okay. So we have finished this one here. Okay. And we're going to move to the next chapter. Let's move on to the next chapter. So this is clear for everybody? Yeah? Okay. So let us share this tab and let us go to 3 and 4. So this we just went over. Okay. I just showed you how to do your calculations. Okay. Now, I didn't show you the KUA numbers, but we will get to the KUA numbers shortly when we get to the next chapter. So let's go KUA numbers. Okay. So this is very important for you to understand. Okay. When you're doing a KUA number, okay, you're always looking at whether is it a male or is it a female. Okay. Now, KUA number, what is KUA number? KUA number came from Pa Kwa. Okay. Pa Kwa is a Feng Shui word. Okay. You probably have seen those 6-sided mirrors. Have you guys seen the 6-sided mirrors? Right? So the 6-sided mirrors that looks like this. My writing is not that right. And then they have like a mirror in the middle. It's either concave or convex. Okay. So it is either round this way or it is round this way. Depends. Okay. So they're reflecting it or they're bringing it closer. Okay. There's a concept to it. Okay. So that is where we get the KUA numbers. Okay. Now, when we get to the KUA numbers, if you see the male, you always get, it's calculated with the 4 digits of the year of birth. Okay. So say, for example, this person here is 1985 born, right? Now with 1985 born, the total comes to a 5, right? Now, if it is a male, then you do 11 minus 5, and that will give you a KUA number. Okay. And if it is a female, you always do 4 plus. Okay. So it's 11 minus or 4 plus. Okay. And then if your KUA number is 5, then if you're a male, it is considered a 2. And if you're a female, it is considered a 8. Okay. So there you go, right? So does that make sense? Yes? Can we try and practice some? Okay. So we had 1964. Whose was 1964? Let's see. Okay, there we go. That was the last one. So then we have her KUA number, okay, is 9, 10, 2. Okay. So then what is it? 4 plus 2. Did I get that right? Yes? 6. Can we do another one? Okay. 19, what was it? 1960. Somebody at 1960? Yes? I can't remember. I'm just going to throw that number in. Okay. So this is the year of birth. Always remember, this is the year of birth. Okay. So,
Prasanna, sorry, we can't see the workings.
We
We've got
can't
the
see
two
the.
workings.
oh,
Yeah.
Allah.
Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah, better. Thanks.
Better, better, better. Thank you. Okay. So we had 1964. Sorry. So we had 1, 9. We had this. So it was 2, right? So 4 plus 2. Okay. Is that right? Yeah. It's a female, correct? 4 plus 2 equals 6. Now this is for female. Okay. This is for the KUA number. Is female. So we don't very much use the KUA number because if you really look at it when it comes to the Loshu grid, some people do, some people don't. Okay, so it really depends. The way I've been taught, we don't use the KUA number as much. Okay, we will put it in, but we don't use it because it's only 10% of your grid. Your personality is around 60%. Okay, so 50 to 60%. Okay, and then your destiny is, they say, 30 to 40%. And then your KUA number is around 10%. Okay. But this KUA number is not put in the grid. Okay. So now, if it is a male, what happens if it's a male? Okay. If it's a male, then it's 11 minus 2 gives you a 9. Okay. Make sense? Okay. Let's do a second one here. Okay. Let's say you're somebody has 1966. Is that right? Yes? Yeah, Aarti. Okay.
It's me.
So, perfect. So 20, 22, correct? Yes? 10, 22, right? 22. Okay, so 2 plus 2 is 4. So if it is a female, right, it is 4 plus 4, which is equal to 8. Okay? And then if it is a male, it will be 11 minus 4, which is equal to 7. Yeah, go ahead. Shilpa, go ahead. Ask. Ask ahead.
Sorry, I'm not getting this. 1966. How did you get 4 and 4?
Okay. So 1966 is this is 10. Count 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 8. What do you get? 22, right? Right? 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 6 is equal to 22. Yes? Huh? 2 plus 12. Yes? Can you see it, Shilpa? Yeah? Or no? Can you guys hear me?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Your voice was disappeared.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with my headset. I should let me take the headset off. Hold on. Okay, let's turn this thing off. Okay, I'm just going to shut that off so that you can hear me. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? Yeah? You can hear me. Okay. So that's good. Okay. So at least you can hear me. All right. So Shilpa, you get what I'm saying? So it's 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay. Now 4 is the number that we used here, right? So if it is a female, then it is a 4 plus, right? And if it is a male, then it's 11 minus. Okay. So 4 plus this 4 that we found here, okay, equals to an 8. 11 minus, right? Again, this 4 that we found here equals to a 7. Okay, so if it is a female, the Kua number is 8. If it is a male, the Kua number is 7. Okay, so Shilpa, give me your year of birth, and we will try that for you, so you can understand what I mean. What is your year of birth again, Shilpa?
1977.
1977. Okay. Okay, so you are a female, so it is plus 4. Okay, so 4 plus. Okay, so 1977. So 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 7. Yeah. So this is 14 plus 10, right? So equals 20, right? Yeah, which equals to plus single digit. Always. Okay. In numerology, you always compound it to single digit between 1 and 9. Always. Okay. So
Can't hear you again.
oh, yeah. Now you can hear me? What's going on? That's weird. Can you hear me now? Yeah? Oh, okay. So 2 plus 4, right, equals to 6, correct? So we got that. Now 4 plus 6, yes? Huh? So 4 plus 6 equals to 10. Now we need to compound that again. 1 plus 0 equals to 1. So your Kua number is 1. Okay. Now what happens if it is a male? Okay. So if it is a male with the same year birth, you go for 11. You go 11 minus 6. Okay. What does that give you? That gives you a 5. Okay. Make sense now? Everybody got it? Yes? Okay. Good. So we got this part. Okay. So now let's keep going. Okay. Now we need to look at this part here. Okay. So if the Kua number was a 5, say for example, if the Kua number was a 5 for right, then what happens if it is a female? If it is a female, it becomes an 8. Okay. Yeah. So if it is female, it turns to an 8. And if it is a male, it turns to a 2. Okay. Now this will help us decode when we're decoding Kua numbers. Okay. What what that means. Generally, Kua numbers is used more for like directions in Feng Shui. Some people use it to go and get like, if they want to wear a certain bracelet or a stone or something. So it's a very Chinese concept. It is not a concept that we use in these grids. Okay, so it's a very, very Chinese concept. That's why they say it's like around a 10% of your grid. Okay. Okay, so we've got this now, right? Now, let me show you. Okay. Okay, so we will keep going to lecture. Go ahead, Pina.
Before it has been indicated that core number plus 4 is for female, and for male, 11 minus the core number, the
Correct.
total number, that is core number. But below it says that male, it should be converted to 2.
Right.
Will
So,
this
like
core number, yeah.
that is only if it is a 5, right? If it is a 5, then only you convert it to a, let me show you 1 second. Okay, so you can see it properly. Like I said, these are notes of mine, right? So you got to write your own notes. There's sometimes when we write our own notes, we're not as clear, right? So this is, if your Kua number is 5, right? Then for male, it should be converted to 2. Female, it should be converted to 8. Did I say it the other way around? No? I said it
Yeah, but
correctly?
it's only when the core number is 5, not with any other
Only,
numbers.
yes, only if it is a 5.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Only if it is a 5. Okay? Not otherwise. But honestly speaking, I hardly use Kua numbers. Okay. My teacher even doesn't use Kua numbers. Now, my teacher was taught actually by Mr. Jumani, and Shilpa Jumani. Have you heard of them? They're one of the top numerologists. They do a lot of numerology for Bollywood. So I don't know if when you watch some Bollywood movies, you wonder why there's an extra A in there in some Bollywood. Okay. So they do numerology for Bollywood. And these are names and the dates that they're released and stuff like that is all based on numerology, especially Yash Chopra himself. He does a lot of numerology. Okay, so a lot of his names, date of release, etc., are actually based on numerology specifically. So I know that a lot of us are not being, we don't get to see all this, but a lot of things are based on numerology. Even when you look at the US, they do a lot of numerology when there's any president that's coming to power and stuff like that. They use numerology. Okay, so something to understand. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to do the planetary traits, okay, which is number 6, and then we are going to switch over to for the next class. Okay, and this is quite a bit for you to understand. Okay, so okay, can you guys see it? You guys have notes, okay, and I'm going to ask you to please add some notes to it. Okay, so when you're doing that, please make sure you've got a pen and paper written so that you can write your own notes as well. Okay. So, ready? Let's go over it. Now, if you know, have any of you watched the show Shani? You have. Okay. Okay. Pina has. Anybody else? Bansi? No? Aarti? No? No? Okay. It's a very good show. It's a very long show. It took me a while to watch it, but it actually gives you some information on on the Hindu mythology. Okay. Now, it will give you, it's more geared towards Vedic astrology, because at the end, if you remember, Pina, they are all fighting on the grid. Okay. Now, let me quickly show you, and I will draw you what a Vedic grid looks like for those that don't know what it looks like. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So this is a Vedic grid. Okay. Okay. This is your Lagna chart. They call it, this is your Lagna. Okay.
Horoscope, they use in horoscope.
Yeah, this is actually, we call it, no, it's not horoscope. It's not horoscope. This is actually the
Okay.
Vedic astrology. And in Vedic astrology, the way they look at it, it's a little bit different. You need to have your date of birth, okay, time of birth, okay, and the way it's calculated is a little bit more complicated. It's way more complex. There is 12 houses, okay. There's 9 planets, okay, 12 houses, 9 planets. This is because this is just basics, okay? So I'm just giving you some information to understand. So if any of you have this Vedic chart, right, and it actually tells you which planets are on there, then you can actually even kind of sort of look at it and understand it, okay? And then you've got the 12 horoscopes, they call it, okay? Horoscopes. Okay. Which is like the 12 horoscopes that we have, the Pisces, Aries, Libra, etc., right? That's what it is. And then the 9 planets. So we go with the 7 planets and the 2 shadow planets we call Rahu and Ketu. Okay. So now let's get back to our planetary traits so you can understand where the concepts come from. But Pina, that's when they were looking at, when they were having their fight, they were fighting over this particular chart, if you remember at the end, right? Okay. So can you see that? Yeah. Okay. So now if you look at the sun, what is the sun? Okay. The sun is Surya Dev, we call in our Hindu mythology. Okay. And Surya Dev is what? He is the sun in English, basically shines the light on the world. Without the sun, we do not have, the plants will not grow. We will not have sunshine. We will not have the day and night. We will not have, like, everything needs the sun. Okay. If we want to have our mental health, we need the sun. Vitamin D, all these are important things, right? So what is the sun? The sun shines the light on whatever it may be. Okay, so if you're looking at Vedic astrology, where the sun is, shines the light. Same thing, the sun, if you're a number 1, you are a leader. What is the sun? It's also referred to as the king, right? Surya Dev, the king. He's a king. Yeah. So anybody with a number 1 is a king-like. Okay. When you're looking, when you get to a certain stage where you're just going and looking at a number, like I did, where I just looked at the numbers, you look at it and you are able to kind of quickly see their person's personality. Okay. So number 1 is basically a king. Okay. They have a leadership quality. They're bossy, they're independent, they can be very helpful, they're very philanthropic and very creative. Okay. So just think of a king, right? These are all the aspects of a king. Okay, these are all traits of a king. They're very career focused. Okay, so if you find a number 1, number 1 is a very hard worker. Their career will come first, then the rest, right? They will get their job done. You give them something, they will get their job done. There would be very good chefs, leadership, right? Any leadership position. Number 1 is, what is a king? If you put a king in a job, is he going to flourish? No. He's going to have a hard time, right? You can't put a king in a job. A king is made to hire people, to give people jobs, not to work for somebody, right? So a good example was my teacher. He's a professor, and he used to work for different universities, but in 2-3 years he would lose his job. 2-3 years he would lose his job, and he couldn't figure it out until he actually got into numerology, and he's got 2 ones. And he said basically somebody, his friend did his numerology and said, I don't understand why you're working for somebody. You're not made to work for somebody. You're made to hire people, to give people jobs. That's the reason why, because they can be very verbal. They can just, what is a king? A king is going to give you guidance. A king is going to tell you as it is. That's what number one is all about. Okay. I'm not, yeah, go ahead, Pina.
These numbers are the destiny number or the personality numbers. Which numbers do we follow?
So we will get to that, but generally we look at both. Okay, so first let's get into what their traits are. When we get into looking at them a little bit more detail, so in level 2 you will learn this is where when you have a certain personality and a certain destiny, what are your traits? Okay, but right now when you're looking at it, you will be able to, once you know this by heart, right, you do it so many times by heart, you will understand that there's number 1 and number 2. So what is it? Raja and Rani, right? So what type of personality, what type of traits they have. Okay, so yes, they are used for both, right? These are just traits for both numbers. Anything that has got a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, be it your address, right? Your location where you're living, or your business address, your phone number, compound number, your car compound number. So whatever it may be, these are the same traits that are used. Okay. But we obviously have to also, when we're doing that, when we are actually comparing, we need to see if they're also friends, neutral, and enemies. I'm not going to go over this. I've just given you this chart, but we're only going to go until, usually, realistically, we only have to go to other information. But we'll go over the career so you can understand. Okay. The friends, enemies, and neutral is not yet. We're not going to get to that. Okay. We will in level 2, and we will go over it almost at the end of this class, the next class, but not right now. Okay. Okay. So number 2 is moon. Moon is Rani, right? Number 2 is a very soft planet. Now number 2 is considered, they can be moody, they're very nurturing, they're very intuitive, they're very emotional, they're very loving, right? Like I said, they're motherly. They're like a mom. Okay. Number 2 is like a mother. So when you have number 2 in anybody's chart, they're very motherly, they're very they love to entertain, they love perfection, they love to dress up, they love to, show their charisma. Like my mom is a number 2, right? If you go to her house, she's got her plates, her dishes, everything are tip top, you know she wants nice stuff. When she has guests, whether the guests or not, she wants to have nice stuff on the table. She wants her vegetables to look beautiful. Somebody like me will just chop them and put them on the plate. You're going to eat it anyways. Just eat it. My mom wants it decorated nicely. That's a number 2, right? But they can be a little bit moody, because don't forget, when you look at number 2 and you have too many number 2s, you can have some issues with your mood swings. Okay, so that can also happen. Now, as women, if you look at us as women, right, and think of us as a queen, we do have our mood swings, correct? So it's not like we don't have our mood swings. Same thing with number 2. But number 2 is also a loving planet, because you see, when it comes to when romance happens, when does it happen? Under the sun, under the moon, not under the sun. It's going to be under the moon, right? We're going to have a romantic dinner, or a fireplace with wine and cheese and all that kind of stuff under the moon, right? It's a very beautiful planet, very soft planet. There's one thing about moon, is the people that have got a number 2, they cannot handle when somebody is aggressive, yelling, somebody says bad words, or somebody is verbally, they cannot tolerate that, right? That's number two for you as well, because that's who they are. That's their nature, right? And if you have a teacher who's a number two, oh my God, they will be so loving and so caring, and they'll take care of you. But if you have, like, say you have a number two and a three, for example, personality destiny, number two, three, and they will, if you brought your homework, you didn't bring your homework, it's okay, beta, next time, no problem. But if you have a number eight and a number two, a number eight, say for example, and a one, oh no, you forgot it. Why? Or you have a number four, for example, because number four is disciplined, very disciplined. You are late, or you've not brought your homework. I'm sorry, what? Your cat ate your homework? Okay, well, go get it done. You know, you will miss some marks, type of thing, right? So that's number two. That's difference about number two. Is very loving, very motherly. Okay, and then we've got number three, which is Jupiter. We call him Brahaspati. Hmm? So Jupiter is they're basically, Jupiter is a knowledge planet. Okay, it's a planet. Anybody with a number three, like I have a seven and a three, it's a knowledge planet. They're very good teachers. They're very good at education. They're good starters, sometimes bad finishers. Okay, these are just some traits that they have, but very, very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. They're hungry for knowledge. Jupiter, anybody with a Jupiter is hungry for knowledge. They have so much knowledge. It's unbelievable. They've got a lot of knowledge. Okay. And anybody with a number three, because it's a guru, right? So when you watched Shani, Jupiter was the guru to the king, right? So when you really look at it, Jupiter is almost considered higher than the king, but not, right? Because the king will listen to Jupiter, right? If you see, a king will always listen to his guru. When the guru says something, the king will listen to the guru, right? So that's how you look at it. So when you're thinking of the traits, that's how you look at it. When you'll have to remember all these nine planets, okay? So see, like I said, there would be good writers, there would be good teachers, okay? Then we keep going on and we go to Rahu. Now Rahu is do you all know Rahu and Ketu's story? No, no, no. Okay. Okay. So Swarbhanu, okay, so there was they call it the churning of the ocean. Okay. Now there's a whole story to it, where the luxuries were taken away from the three dev. We call the three dev, okay? Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Yeah? We all know that. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the three gods. The three dev, we call them, the three gods. Okay. Now, the luxuries were taken away from the three dev. So what had happened was, there was a shrap. We call it a, how do you say it now? A shrap is a curse that was given, right? That all the luxuries will be taken from you. And this was a shrap, that was a curse that was given by sadhu. Okay. So what had happened was that they had to bring the asur, which we call the demons, right, from the lower world and the upper world, right? They had to bring them, okay, and bring them together, all the gods or all the deities, they call, because there's only three gods and then there's the deities, okay, the lords, the deities, had to come together and had to churn the ocean. And there was going to be uh, uh, amrit, they call it, holy water that came out of it, and that was to be taken by both the gods and the lords, and the asur, which was the demons. Okay, so they did the churning of the ocean, right? And there was the amrit that came out, which we call the holy water. Now what had happened was, Brahma's uh, uh, avatar, okay, she was there giving um, the holy water to everybody. So what they decided was first they will have all the gods and lords drink it, then the demons will drink it after. So there was a lineup, everybody was drinking it, okay, and then Swarbhanu decided, he's a demon, and decided, well, I don't have patience, I'm not going to wait. So decided he was going to jump in, yeah, and decided to jump in and uh drank the amrit, okay, the holy water. When he drank the holy water, okay, he Brahma's avatar, she Lord, she was a Mataji, and she realized, so chop the head off, okay. So that's where Swarbhanu is now. Rahu, okay, is the head. Ketu is the body, okay. So Rahu is a planet without a body, and Ketu is a planet without a head, okay. So whenever you're looking at anything, you look at the head. So Rahu is disciplinary, very we call them jugaru, which means very can be very cunning, can be very outside the box thinking type, right? While Ketu thinks with the heart, doesn't have a head. So it's a headless planet. So thinks with the heart, right? So they get disappointed, they get cheated because they don't have when you really look at it, they don't have a head, right? So that's just a personality. It's not that the person doesn't have a head. It's just their personality or their destiny is an indication of who they are, right? Listen, and everything has got positives, so don't get me wrong, every planet has got its positives, okay. We're all given a gift, and we have to use that gift, okay. We were not all made to be doctors or nurses. We all had a gift to do something different in this world, right? Otherwise the world wouldn't run, okay. So that's the story to Rahu. So when you look at a Rahu, anybody with number 4 is very disciplinary. They will show up 15 minutes before. They're very organized. They like things very, consistent and concise, very, very organized. That's a number 4 for you. Okay. So number 4 would do very good in banking, finance, right? Multilingual, excellent sales and marketing. They're not good. Oh no, that's number 5. Sorry, we've got that. That's AI and IT. Sorry, I was like, what am I saying? That's not right. So sorry. Let's return back. Very disciplinary and good at AI and IT, but they would be also very good at finance. They're very good at keeping finance, by the way. Okay, so anybody with a number 4 would be very, very good at watching their money. So very good with money management. Okay. So that's Rahu for you. Then you've got Mercury. Now somebody asked me Mercury. Who was it? Peter asked me number 5? Was it you number 5? Yes, there we go. So now you get your number 5. I didn't want to talk about it because there's a lot of number 5 is the center of the grid. Okay. So number 5 holds the center. It's like you need to have, like in a tree, you need to have you need to have the roots, right? And then you have the bark. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, that's what it is. Number 5, have to have it. It connects to the leaves at the top. It connects to the roots at the bottom. Okay, so that's number 5. Now number 5 is Venus, which no, sorry, where am I going? Hi, how am I jumping? Number 5 is Mercury. Okay, now number 5 is also considered the prince. Okay, now if you know, when you watched Shani, there was a prince in there as well. So always, given everything, the prince gets everything. Whatever the prince asks for, receives. Right? So it's the same thing with the concept when you're looking at these numbers. Okay, he gets what he receives. It's easy, comes easy to them. Quite often, they say that if you have, like, say for example, a 5 and a 2, for example, if you stand in line, the rest of us have to go to God and take a number. and ask God, and God will say, okay, when your number comes, I'll let you know. But if you're a number 5 or a number 2, you don't even need to stand in line. You just jump the line and you just go in the front and you get your answers, your prayers answered. And I used to tell, so my mom is a 5 and a 2. And I always used to tell her, I said, how is this possible, Mom? Everything you ask for, you get. And I have to stand in line. I said, this is not fair. I said, it's absolutely not fair. And now when I really look at it, whatever I was telling her was true. Literally, it is true. It's very true. So if you have a number 5, you don't stand in line, you just jump the line because you're the prince. So what happens? You're the prince. You're going to get everything you want. Now, the thing with number 5, though, sometimes they can become lazy, right? So number 5 has this, because they're the prince, they sometimes, if you look at it, they're good in marketing, sales, they're good at desk work. They will sit at the desk. They're very good at doing that. If you tell them go out, they don't want to do that. Right? They will, if they have to, they will do it, but they would prefer they sit at the desk, they'll get the job done. And they're very good at sales, marketing, in business. You need number 5 for business. And most of us are blessed with a 1 and a 9, right? Born in the 19th century. Then you get a yog number right there, right? So that's number 5 for you, okay? Like I said, they do not favor physical work. Okay, so sometimes you'll find number 5, they're a little bit mota. They love to sit. Okay, right? What is a prince? A prince loves to be nurtured and loved and cared for. It's a very soft planet as well. Mercury is very, anybody who's got a number 5 is very sweet at talking. That's the reason why they do so well in marketing. Right? Sales and marketing. They're very good at sales and marketing. And you do need that for balance, even in a house. If you have a number 5, that balances the house. Okay, so number 5 is the balance in the house. Number 6 is a family oriented, right? So somebody with the number 6 is very, very family oriented. Okay, so there would also be excellent entrepreneurs, as I said. Okay, they're good at desk jobs, and they're not great at working outside. Yeah. Okay, and then we've got Venus. Now, Shukracharya, if you remember, right? Shukracharya. So realistically, in the mythology, Shukracharya was actually Jupiter, right? Which is Brahaspati, correct? You see that? Yeah. So Shukracharya was Brahaspati's teacher at one point. If you remember, in Shani, Brahaspati, Jupiter, had come down to learn from Shukracharya. Now, Shukracharya is the lord of the demons, they call them. Okay. While Jupiter is the lord of the kings and the lords, right? The gods, right? So Venus always keeps the demons in place. Without Venus, then the whole demon community was going crazy. If you remember when you were watching Shani, the whole demon community went crazy. So Shukracharya, very, very particular that there is a law to everything, whether you are a god or not, or a demon. There is a law that you have to follow, and you follow there's certain rules that you follow. Okay, up or down, doesn't matter, upper world or lower world, there are rules to it, and Shukracharya kept that intact. Okay, when it came to taking care of the lord of the demons. Now, it is also a lord of love. It is a love planet. Okay, it is associated with Lakshmi Ma. Okay, the money planet. It's also considered a money planet. Okay, now, they say, oh, money is evil. No, it's not evil. Okay, it's an energy, right? That's why it's connected to Lakshmi Ma, right? Lakshmi is the lord of the goddess of money, of good fortune, of prosperity, right? Those are all it's connected to. Okay, number 6 is very, very diplomatic, can be very sensitive, has lots of family and friends, very connected to family and friends. There's lots of number 6 is like I was saying, is a very family oriented number. Okay, love, family. If you go to this person's house, they're very, you will see some people, will have so many people come in and go out and come in and go out, and some people no, right? So now if you have a number 6, you will notice they've got a lot of people around them. There's a lot of support, a lot of family support. Even when we get to marriage, and relationship and partnership calculations, you will notice number 6 is very important. Okay, for certain things. Okay, those are number 5 and 6 are very key numbers that I will keep repeating. Okay. Okay, then we've got number 7. Now, as I explained again, Rahu and Ketu, right? So Rahu is the head, Ketu is the body. Okay, so Ketu is a headless planet. Now, Rahu and Ketu are, we call them shadow planets because they're not in the solar system. Okay, there's the 7 planets that we usually look at, but then Rahu and Ketu are not in the solar system. Okay, but then when we were looking at this grid, right? We were looking at this grid here, right? Now, when you actually look at, it's not a grid, it's actually an astrological chart. It's a Vedic astrology, okay? You will always find that the Rahu and Ketu will always be on the opposite side. So if Rahu is here, Ketu will be here, okay? If Rahu is here, okay, Ketu will be here. If it's the same thing, Rahu here, Ketu here, okay? It will always be on the opposite sides on the chart, okay? But now we're not talking about this. I'm just showing you because so you can understand, right? A little bit more of the concept. So Rahu, head, Ketu, body. Now that also indicates any kind of health problems that you might face. Rahu, right? Everything to do with the head. Things with the head is always in the head, is always, thinking with the head. Okay, Ketu is always thinking with the heart. So if you go to a Rahu person with a Rahu and you say, give me $5, the person with Rahu will ask you 10 questions before he gives you that $5. Now you go to a Ketu person with a Ketu, you say, give me $5, and that person with a Ketu will say, Hale, without asking questions. Little, it's okay. Take it. I'll give it to you. I trust you. I believe you. So they trust very easily and they get disappointed very easily. People take advantage of them very easily. Go ahead, Bansi.
So you got the whole thing. You the Rahu and Ketu, the whole body.
No, no, no. I don't have number 4. I've got 3. I've got 3 and 7.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so that's why I'm a teacher and I teach from my heart. So there you go. How's that for you? Shilpa, go ahead. Go ahead,
So
Shilpa.
what number actually we are taking in? I didn't get it. Sorry, I was to ask in the beginning.
So
Are we
what
taking
did
this number as the destiny number or
So
the
these are
birth?
numbers that we use no matter whether we are looking at your destiny and personality numbers, we're looking at your name numerology, we're looking at your mobile numerology. This is just a standard. You're going to have all the 9 numbers that you will have to remember every time when you're looking at different things. Okay. So let's finish this till number 9. We're on number 7. And I'll quickly show you a little bit of the advanced that you look at. Don't get yourself confused though. Okay. So let me finish this. Okay. And I will kind of show you so you can understand what I mean. Okay. So now Ketu, you've got Ketu, which is they're a little bit in relationships because they get disappointed a lot. Okay, they get taken advantage very easily, right? So number 7 is a planet that anybody with the number 7 gets taken advantage of, is very spiritual as well, because spiritual from the heart. Yeah, you don't have a head, so you're very spiritual. They like to be on their own because they get disappointed easily. So why do they want to be around other people, right? So they like to be on their own. right? You will find anybody with a number 7, and it happened to me actually when I turned 40. I actually got divorced, and literally when our teacher was talking about it, says, yeah, anybody with a number 7, you just need to ask them, just have some patience in your relationship, because you could be in the relationship but you could feel lonely inside your heart, right? And literally that's basically what happened to me at 40. That is around the time when anybody with the number 7 may have some relationship issues around that time. Okay, it's a common denominator. Now remember that whatever I say, 90% of it is true. Okay, 90%. So don't take it fully 100%, because you'll have a small percentage of people that it might not be true for. Okay, and when they're in a relationship, when you're looking at the relationship grid, sometimes they get balanced by their partner. Okay. Okay. So number 7 would be excellent researcher. They're good philanthropists. They're very scientific. They would be good chefs, very good at occult science. So somebody mentioned I got it all. Yeah, I got it all. I got number 7 and I got number 3. So actually I'm very lucky because I get to teach occult science. I'm a teacher, a guru. I got number 3 and I got number 7. So I've been blessed to be able to teach occult science, right? So yeah, so that's what I have got. And then when we look at number 8, now number 8 is Saturn. Okay, as I mentioned, it's the slowest planet in the solar system. 29.4 years it takes to go around the whole entire world. Okay, the slowest planet. So imagine Shani Bhagwan is a planet with half a leg. Okay, is limping, right? So whenever you're thinking of Saturn, think of it as a slow planet. So anybody with the number 8, everything comes slowly, slowly. Shane, Shane, we say slowly, slowly. Yes, Shilpa. But now Shani is also money. So we relate Shani to money. So people with a number 8, money, sweetheart. Shani is money. So you've got discipline and money together. So if you tell me you don't have money, I'm going to say there's something that's not right. Okay. So Shani is money. That's what we say. But you have to work hard for it. The thing with number 8, you got to work hard. Okay. Number 8 has to work very, very hard. Things will come to them slowly. Okay. But has to work hard. Now, what are they good at? Okay. They would be good at, sorry, I'm just going to read because I'm saying from my mind, I'm not even reading my notes because it's automatic by heart, right? They would be good at, they would be good chartered accountants, good lawyers, good, if they're judges, they would do really well, right? Now, when you go to the courtroom, right, there is a lady that has got her eyes that are closed, and then she's got the scale, right? Now, what is Shani Bhagwan very good at? What is the Lord of Saturn, or Shani, how do we say it in English? Karma, the Lord of Karma, we call him. Okay. So you only get what you deserve. Okay. You get served a menu you deserve. You do not get a list of menu. Okay. So that is what number 8 is all about. So that's the reason why number 8 is very specific about their karma. They're very, if you find a number 8 and you're at the office and you're stealing a pen, they will come and tell you, you shouldn't be doing that. So that's number 8 for you. They're very particular about for some reason, they might not recognize. I don't know, Shilpa, if you are like that or not, but they might not recognize, but they're very like, that's not right type of thing. And it's the same thing with number 7 as well, because they think from their heart. Okay. So they would do very good in they would be good lawyers, good engineers. They would do very well in luxury, in leather, shoe business, nightlife. So if you know, Saturday is considered the day of Lord Shani. Okay, right? So, but then whenever, let's say, if we're doing any yantra, mantra, or anything for Shani mantra, right? Usually we do it at night. Okay, when we are writing a mantra. Now that is another topic altogether that's very advanced. I'm just giving you an example. Okay, so that is just something that is very advanced for this class right now. Okay. So what did I mention? It's a slow progressing, good in law or any metal industry, even metal industry, very good. Okay, they would do very good in metal industry. I think I mentioned that in the beginning as well. Leather industry would be very good for them as well. Okay, then we've got number 9. Now 9 is considered Mars. Mars is a hot planet, red planet. Okay, what is Mars? Mars is a red planet, right? It's very hot, aggressive. Okay, now if you take Mars and put it upside down, take the M and put it upside down, what happens? What do you get? Wars. Okay, my teacher taught me this. You take Mars and put the M upside down and you'll find wars. So number 9 is a war planet, a fiery planet. It's a aggressive planet. So anybody with number 9, they are very intelligent, but they're very aggressive. Okay, they're very assertive. They may have health. Okay, so health challenges are specific to because they're a doer, they're an action-oriented person, right? Now, if you give a number 9 something, they'll get it done. Chop chop, let's go. They'll get it done really fast. So they're very action-oriented, number 9. But the thing with number 9 is they have to sweat it out. Just like number 8, they have to work hard. They have to sweat it out. Right? Same thing with number 9. I say number 9 for the rest of their life, they have to work out an hour a day, sweat. And same thing with number 8, and they will find success. Okay. Now, in health, they also say that if you work out, right, you secrete some kind of hormones that help you for your mind and stuff like that. It's the same thing. Okay. And number 9, if they don't work out, you will find that they are very aggressive because they need to release that energy. There's that energy inside them that they need to release. Okay. It's very important for them to release that. Okay. And number 9, I have done quite a few number 9s, and I found that number 9 has diabetes. 90% of my findings with number 9 have got diabetes, high blood pressure, diabetes. So what is number 9 related to? Blood. Okay, so anything related to blood. Okay, you can have any kind of blood related issues. So they have to take very good care of themselves when it comes to health from young. Okay, they would be very good at sports, and, a trainer, personal trainer, stuff like that. Okay, very good. And these ones also good at their own business. They would do very well if they had a 9 and a 1. Right? They are action oriented and they're a leader. Now, what happens? That's exactly what you need in a business. Action, leadership. Boom, right there. Okay, so these are some of the planetary traits. Okay, and now the colors are, so when we look at the friends, neutral, and enemies, those are when we look at the personality and destiny, when we're actually taking the personality and destiny to actually see whether they're friends or enemies. Okay, and then what are their remedies? Okay, now the colors are there to be able to help you, say for example, when we're looking for remedies, like for example, and we're not at the remedies, but just an example I'm going to give you is you're missing a number 5. Right, you're missing a number 5. So what can you do? Number 5 is what color? Green. Do you see? Right, now what is number 5 also? So when you look at Som, Mangal, Budh, yeah, Budh is what? It's the same thing as number 5, Budh, Mercury. Yes, so number 5 is Mercury, so green color. Guru is yellow. Yellow is number 3, Guru. Right, so Som, Mangal, Budh, Guru, Shani. Yeah, so then you've got Shani. Right, so you've got Som, Mangal, Budh, Guru, Shukra, and then Shani. So today is Friday for me, which is Venus, right? Shani is Saturday, right? Number 1 is Sunday, right? So Monday is usually for the moon, right? So as we go on, that's what it is, right? So let's say you're missing number 5, then what are the remedies for it? For example, I'm just going to throw that at you because any of you can do these remedies. Okay, you just take moong, right? Green grams, and you put it in water. Whether you're rich or poor, you can take 1 spoon, you can do 2 spoons, put it in water on Tuesday night, and on Wednesday you go and give it to the birds, or on Wednesday you go and donate it to somebody, right? Doesn't matter how it is. On Wednesday you go and donate it to somebody poor. You just buy a bag of green grams and you donate it to somebody poor or somebody that is not well to do. That's a remedy, and realistically nothing wrong with it. Like, it's not going to hurt you. Okay, but when you look at other remedies, I suggest that you not take all the remedies to heart, because if you don't need a remedy and you're trying to do a remedy for that, then what happens? It's like you don't have a headache and you're taking Tylenol. Not good, no? So why would you want to take Tylenol for something you don't have? So when it's remedies, I'm very, very careful to give remedies or to recommend remedies or to ask anybody to take remedies without getting proper guidance. Okay, so I know that you do watch a lot of YouTubes and a lot of people do that. Just be very careful, especially when it comes to Vastu and all that kind of stuff, you know, changing your area and stuff. Just make sure you get that correctly, the right recommendations. Okay. Okay. So that's where now when I talked about colors, that's what it is. Okay. So there's 2 numbers, number 5 and number 7, do not have enemies. Okay. They do not have enemies because number 5 is the center of the grid. Okay. Number 7 is now, you know, bicharo without a head. So who's going to come and fight it? People take advantage of number 7 instead of actually, you know, trying to fight with them. So bicharo number 7. That's what I say, bicharo. Because honestly, my teacher actually told me that never lend any money to anybody. You're going to be taken advantage for. So anybody with a number 7, if you give money to somebody, you will never receive it back. You give it as a donation. Think of it as a donation. You will never get it back. So if anybody comes and asks you for money and you're number 7, just say, okay, this money is not coming back. You understand? So that's what it is. Okay. Now, I know you were asking about the different personality destinies, and let me show you.
Can we take a break, washroom break?
Yeah, we're actually done. You can go ahead. We're actually done because we've been 2 hours already. Yeah, but
Okay.
go ahead, go for your washroom break. And then, because I don't usually take this any farther because it becomes too much for you. Okay. So I am going to, you can go ahead and take your washroom break. Let me just look for something that I can show you so you can see, right? Go ahead, take your washroom break. Don't worry. I'll wait for you if you want.
I had a question for Zana.
Yeah, ask away.
You know, like in Indian astrology or whatever, the timings make a difference, right? Like if we are born 3 a.m., say today at 3 a.m., so is it considered, like if today is the first, is it considered first or is it considered still 31st of Jan? You know,
3
because in
a.m.
Indian,
after 12 is considered the next day, right?
yeah, but in Indian astrology, it's considered after 6 a.m.
Oh no, we do after
After midnight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, after midnight.
All right, thanks.
Okay. So I will show you this and we'll wait for her quickly. Okay. So these are just some examples. Okay. So we're going to wait for Pina. She'll be back shortly, but I'll go over it again one more time. So you were asking about personality and destiny. Now, here are the examples of a personality and destiny. Who's got 2 and 2? Somebody has a 2 and 2. Let's go there.
I had.
Now, remember one thing. Whenever you are actually, oh, you're back. Good. Thank you. Good timing. So here is, so you guys were asking about the personality and destiny, correct? So here is something that I'm just showing you quickly on the personality and destiny traits. Now, remember, whenever you're talking to a client, never ever tell them, oh, you've got a below average. No, because that's something you don't tell. Okay. This is just something for you to recognize, as in, why is it below average? Not everything in it is below average, right? Not the whole grid is below average. Not everything is below average. There's certain sections to it. Maybe like if you look at mine as a number 7, right? It's below, number 7 can be below average because you're getting in certain ways, right? Because I'm getting taken advantage of. I'm getting disappointed, right? If I'm not careful, I will be, these are things that I need to take care of, right? When you have a number 1, they're gonna ask you 110 questions before they make that decision to give you anything. Or you go to a number 9, the humanitarian, but they will ask you questions. They will not just hand you the money. Number 7 is, without a head. That's why, literally, that's why, without a head. You want money? I take. How much more? Can I give you more? Yeah, that's the type, So what I say is, don't take, these are just my notes, right? That's the reason why we don't give a lot of notes, because these are notes that I keep for myself, because it's in my head how I think, right? So number 2 and 2, for example, right, has to work hard to make life happen. Very emotional. They're not a multitasker, only concentrate on one business. So they would be good at just, there's some people that can do 2 things at a time and some people can't. Right. So they can be the center of attraction. So if they don't attend an event or something like that, because they're soft, they're loving, they're a motherly, number 2 is very motherly, right? So if they don't attend an event, they will be missed. Right? So that's what I mean. They're center of attraction, right? The center of attention, right? They're very emotional, very family oriented, very soft, very family oriented. Their mother. They've got the motherly, personality, right? Best made to work for someone or partner with someone in business. They can be very good, very loving teachers. I was talking about that before, right? Handle with care, very sensitive. They can be very sensitive, right? Because they're number 2 again, right? So go ahead, Shilpa, ask away.
I just wanted to ask you about the remedy you said for the moon. Yeah, when you soak it on Tuesday and give it to birds on Wednesday.
Oh, the moong number. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So if you don't want to do that, and if you just want to donate the moon to someone, so still you do it on Wednesday, right?
on Wednesday, yes, you do it on Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. So that is, you can do it. Anybody can do it. We all can do it. In fact, my teacher, as we get into advanced, we are recommended as teachers, as numerologists, to actually do that, by the way. So to be able to do that, just to give back, to whether you can either give it to the birds, because the birds fly away with it, right? So there is a concept to it, but even you can donate it. It's what is in your heart is most important. Even when we did the chanting, what is in your heart, how you say it. You have to realize that whatever words come out of your mouth, whatever chanting you do, or whatever remedies you do, you have to do it with your whole heart, right? So you have to really and respect it. That's what it is. That's the most important thing. Doesn't matter how you do it. You guys do pranic healing. Everything has got its level. You got to give it the respect. Okay. If you can't, don't do it. Right? Is what I say. Don't do it with a half heart. You see? So that's what it is. So these are the planetary traits that you were asking about. Okay. And then we were talking about decoding the grid. So here's a little bit about the repeat numbers that we did, right? But these are all advanced, so don't get confused with it. I am hoping I'm not going to confuse you anymore. Okay, so these are a little bit just so you can understand what they look like. Okay, and then when we were talking about, so I'll show you yantra, but Actually, I shouldn't even show you because this is actually on YouTube. Okay. So, because it's got all the nakshatra and stuff, and we don't share that. Okay. That's something that we don't do. Okay. So, that is because yantras are only given, it's like giving a Tylenol 3 or a more advanced medication type of thing, right? So you give a yantra when you need something, and you don't give it to anybody. First, you give them remedies of, like, like the moong dal, for example, right? Or give bananas on Thursday, for example, right? Stuff like that. So you do that because nobody's going to get hurt if you give bananas, and nobody's going to get hurt if you give moong, right? But then suddenly I'm giving you a yantra. Now you need to have respect for it. You need to put it in the mandir, or you need to put it in a space where there's no, it's vegetarian, it's clean, it's, it needs to be put in that space. And then depending on which yantra it is, then you, if it is a temporary yantra, right, if it's for health or stuff like that, then that needs to then, after that, given its respect back to where it needs to be put away, because it doesn't stay in your house after that, right? So those are things. So I don't want to put it on YouTube, because then if somebody sees it, it's not right. Okay. So now marriage is a good example, right? So here's something that we do where we actually look at the marriage, and we look at the different grids and stuff like that, right? So this is how we do it. And then there's a little bit more to it than just that. Okay. So there's like different, there's a lot of calculations that go on with it, right? So this is a little bit more detailed, but first I want you to concentrate on getting the grid. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you is, please get your grids. Okay. If you're able to get a few more grids, and then on the next class, okay, we will have our, where I have to show you the yoga numbers. Okay. We're going to get to the yoga numbers. Okay. So we'll do yoga numbers, which you already have notes for, correct? Yeah. And then we'll get to small arrows, right? As you can see. Yes. And I've already shown you. And then we are going to do, let's go back here. Okay. So we're going to do the Loshu grid yog numbers, small arrows, careers. We'll do a little bit of the Chaldean grid. Now, the Chaldean grid is basically name numerology. We're only doing Chaldean for names. Okay, like I said, only names. Okay, we'll do the karmic numbers, some remedies, but I don't recommend you do any of the remedies unless they are very simple and very easy. Okay, this is just some information for you, because we do get into remedies later on. Okay, and then we will do the basic of personal year numbers. And here's a good example of what I created. Okay, so we have, okay, so this is a little bit more complicated for you. Okay, here is my personal year. Okay, so these are all your personal years. Now, when you were asking me about the planetary traits, this also helps you understand a little bit, right, about your personal year, right? So when we get to that, then you can actually calculate what your personal year, what happened, when your wedding happened, etc. And then that gives you a little bit of an insight. Okay, so this is 2020, we're at 2025, and I've got a 1. Now, what is a 1? Again, it's a leadership, it's new beginnings, new start, clean start. That's number 1. So that's for me, right? Number 1. So that's why this year everything is leadership, new start, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so now you can see, and we will get to that. I will show you how to do that. Okay, these are a little bit more detailed. This is more detailed because this gives you so I've got the personal here. This is somebody else's. Okay, I'm just gonna, yeah, this is somebody else's. Let's take that out because I don't want anybody to see it right now. Okay, so this is somebody else's. So you got the personal year here in orange, and then you've got the month. So the month, what is the numbers of it, right? And then you've got the days. So, when they take out Kundali and sometimes they're looking for a specific day to do something specific. Yeah. So that's all here. You see? And then it actually even goes as far as getting your ideal partnership or business partnership stuff, right? Those are all calculations for you. Okay. Okay. So, till then, have a good night and we will see you next week. We decided next week, correct? Yes. And so we'll see you next week, and I will confirm that on WhatsApp with the time, 8:30 again. And I will post this on YouTube, and I will send you a link to it. Okay. So just be careful because your video is on it. So you are going to be on it. So if you're going to be sharing this, know that whoever you're sharing with and wherever it's going, I have no problem, but you will be sharing your face over there. Okay. So I have no problem if you want to share it. I would rather you not, because it is actually a class, right, that you have paid for. Okay. So till then, have a good night and thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. God bless
That was
you.
wonderful. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Can I just ask